I did not want to have to make this video, but it had to be done. The Marvels has given me no choice but to make a video where I talk about what is going on with the MCU and why is it falling apart. As much as I do not want to hop on that train and rant about the MCU, I think it's a topic that can't really be ignored. And as a fan of the MCU, I think it's something I should talk about. So let's get started.
And here we go.
Like you probably already know, the MCU films have had a sudden decline in quality after Endgame. The more projects the MCU tries to milk out a year, the less people want to see of the MCU. Besides, a lot of the projects have been very hit or miss. You have really good projects like these, and then you also have really bad projects like this.
Astrid, are you okay?
I no longer go by the name Astrid. I'm now known as Axel. He's a singer from a popular band I heard on Earth.
I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect, but like, I'm sure somebody worked very hard on this, but what is this?
Anyways, all jokes aside, it is very obvious that the MCU has dropped in quality. And I think the main reason is because the MCU has been throwing out so many projects, and it's not really showing us quality over quantity right now. The MCU is more focused on throwing out content and introducing new characters and rushing storylines right now than it is actually setting up the storylines and actually fleshing out the characters. The reason why the Infinity Saga succeeded so well is because the storyline was actually already set up and the movies felt very connected and felt like a jointed story. So whenever Infinity War and Endgame came out, it felt epic. It felt like an epic finale, which is something I think the Multiverse Saga is actually currently failing in. Kang literally conquers universes. He should be a big bad that is talked a lot more about in the MCU. Like, Jonathan Majors is such a great actor, am I right? Oh, okay. Just forget about what I just said. Anyways, the MCU is focusing way too much on fan service and trying to introduce as many characters as they can and throwing out so many projects when they should really be focusing on the storylines and most importantly, the characters. Because if it wasn't for how good Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man was written, the MCU wouldn't be at where it's at now. Because people wouldn't really care to see these characters. So if anything, the characters and the storyline goes first. The MCU just needs to stop trying to set up all of this stuff without good storylines. And they need to stop trying to introduce all of these characters and build up the epic grand finale naturally so that whenever the time does come, it will feel epic and it will feel earned. Not rushed, but built up piece by piece. See, you have moments like this that were actually built up to. See, that scene in the movie theaters was epic and it was built up naturally by story, not just through fan service. Because while you have moments like those, epic fan service that was built up naturally, you also have moments like this that is completely forced fan service and is pretty unnecessary.
The smartest man alive, Reed Richards.
See, while that scene was cool and it was awesome seeing Mr. Fantastic, it wasn't earned. It was just straight up fan service, which is something I noticed that the MCU has been using a lot more. Like, Spider-Man No Way Home had a lot of fan service, but it was epic and was actually a really good movie. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness wasn't really that good. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't at all bad. It just did not live up to the name at all. In this video, I do not want to use the word superhero fatigue because movies like Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Batman have proven that superhero fatigue isn't really real necessarily. It's not the fact that they keep making these movies. It is the fact that a lot of these movies are bad and written horribly, and that they are the same kind of formula. They keep using the same kind of formula, which people are starting to notice. The reason why Prime Video's TV series like The Boys and Invincible are so successful is because that they are different and unique, and they focus more on the characters than all that fan service. And instead of pumping out a bunch of projects a year, they just focus on making a great season. And these shows are making way more views than any of the MCU Disney Plus TV shows. If the MCU wants to carry on after Avengers Endgame, then they're going to have to make everything different and unique. They are going to have to change up the formula, or else people are going to start to get sick of it. Because all of these solo projects feel very disconnected and more random, even though the main focus of the MCU should be the multiverse. The only multiverse projects we had so far is like Loki, maybe a little bit of WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man No Way Home, Ant-Man 3, and I guess Deadpool 3. Even though like almost every movie in the Infinity Saga was setting up Infinity War and Endgame. Most of those movies included an Infinity Stone. Captain America had the Space Stone. Thor: The Dark World had the Reality Stone. Guardians of the Galaxy had the Power Stone. Avengers Age of Ultron had the Mind Stone. And Doctor Strange had the Time Stone. Then it all led to the ending of the Infinity Saga. So the way to fix the issue with the current state of the MCU is, number 1, we need more quality over quantity. Number 2, be more consistent with your stories and make them feel more connected, instead of just throwing out these random solo stories on Disney+. Number 3, if you want to keep your audience hooked, then you're going to have to show us something different and unique like Loki and Werewolf by Night. The age of cringe in the MCU must stop. Otherwise, people will no longer be sitting down in the theater to see their movies anymore. Bring the MCU back to its prime. You hear that, Kevin Feige? You better fix this, or else we're coming for you.